We got a lot of new Crimson Desert news after the most recent feature video, because Will Powers, the director of marketing, joined the Dropped Frames podcast and talked for almost 2 hours about the game. So I listened to the whole thing and I want to go over all the news in these videos. So make sure you are subscribed as well to not miss anything Crimson Desert related. So I want to start with something interesting. There's no difficulty setting in this game, but we know there are 5 countries, and like the enemies will get more challenging depending on the region you are in. And yeah, that will kind of like hold you back. While you can explore everything in the open world, yeah, you will encounter more challenging foes, but the enemies will not scale. So that means that at one point you will steamroll the early game areas, but it also means that if you at one point encounter a boss and you're like, this boss is way too challenging for me, you can just do anything else in the open world and over prepare and then come back to that boss to be way stronger. So think of over preparing in the way of upgrading your gear. You can mine and use those resources to make your gear better, and that will also upgrade your gear score. You can also craft better consumables. A new one that Will Powers talked about is that there is a consumable that you can use to revive yourself in battle, which of course a huge game changer. So stack up on those, do the boss you have trouble with, and they can still succeed. Or you can maybe switch to a different character. We now learned, as we already speculated, that the 2 extra characters that will be in the game are unlocked through the main story. So we have Damien, the girl. She has a pistol and a long musket and a rapier as like a weapon. And we have Unka, he's the brute with the giant axe. And yeah, as we can see, they both play completely different. We know that Damien also has an aerial traversal. It's kind of a propeller, but we don't know if Unka, the brute, has an aerial traversal as well. And they also did not want to talk about how we can switch between these characters yet. Is it just like a flip of a switch and then you're instantly that character? That doesn't seem to be the way, but maybe you have to go to the camp and then switch character, or maybe it's like a GTA style situation. They wanted to keep that close to their chest, but they did say that they will have a creator and press event at the end of the month, and it seems like they might reveal something there. So of course, keep an eye out on the channel here for more information. So there was also one part of the interview where Will Powers answered the question regarding a potential cash shop in the game. So let's have a listen.
What are you guys doing with this game? Are we going to see like a cash shop in here and stuff? Like how is that going to work with
No, this is so yeah. Thank you for asking that. This is a premium game. You buy one time, and I don't want to say that there's 0 MTX, because there are pre-order bonuses that we have, but anything that's announced and coming at launch is strictly cosmetic.
Not like a cosmetic cash shop on release kind of thing.
No, like I can say that definitively. There is not a cosmetic cash shop. This is made to be a premium experience that you buy and you enjoy the world, and not something for microtransactions.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is very good news. So he's of course talking about the deluxe edition items here. So you can get them and they just seem to be cosmetic. Looks like an awesome armor, and of course these shields, and it's probably something like the horse armor looks awesome too. So it's probably something you get early on, so it will likely be a little later that you get items that look as cool. But we know that there's a huge amount of gear in this game, so high chance that at one point you will get even cooler stuff without having to pay. Although I think the deluxe edition is like €10 more. I mean, it's up to you if you want to like rock these items or not. But they at least do not seem to have any perks or gameplay benefits. Because armor does have stats and sometimes even special perks. So this is from the Gamescom demo, so obviously things have changed a bit, but it still gives us an idea of what the inventory system and some of the stats look like. So for the demo armor, you had defense, attack speed, and movement speed. Same for the demo gloves. And here we have the demo spear, which also has the crit chance stat. So what they now also confirmed is that main weapons, so basically items you find in the world, also unique items, there are a ton of those in the world. We also saw some of them during the feature videos. They first had durability in old footage, so in a previous build, but when the game comes out, these items will not have a durability stat, so they cannot break. But there is still a durability stat, And I think this is interesting. So you have the Mayor plate armor here. This was a drop from an enemy. Looks like armor, but this is actually something you can pick up and then sell for 109 coins. And this also seems to have a durability. So maybe the higher the durability, the more money you get from it. But I don't think this is for actual gear you can put on. But at the end of this same demo, I got this shield. This is actually the shield from the boss that you fight at the end of this demo. This did have a durability of 100. So it might be that while weapons and your armor cannot break, that your shield can. Or maybe they will also still change it. But what I also thought was interesting is the skill that this one has. Power guard. So probably a skill in your skill tree is now activated or something like that. I wasn't able to use it in combat, but it did look pretty cool. As you can see, it was huge. Willpowers also, for example, talked about the ghillie suit, or basically this suit that we've seen in 2 of the feature videos that Cliff uses to hunt animals. So using this should make those animals scared of you, so those beasts will not attack, making it easier to get close and hunt them. And there should also be gear and stats that complement your playstyle. So we of course saw in the 3rd feature video that there's a notoriety system as well. When you steal things, you can get wanted, and then maybe the whole town will turn on you. So there's, for example, a stat in the game that increases your attack power depending on your notoriety level. So what Willpower said that you could do is, okay, I need to fight this boss. They are way too strong, but I have this item that increases my attack power if I increase my notoriety level. So maybe do that in the open world, increase your notoriety, go back to the boss, and then you have this insane attack power increase. And then you can fight the boss and maybe succeed. So one more thing regarding progression. So your gear is very important. You can find things in the world. You can also find blueprints, craft that, and then have to get resources to upgrade that gear and increase your gear score. But the other part are the Abyss artifacts. So you have to also find these. You can get them from killing bosses, killing enemies, and this unlocks new skill points. So there's no leveling up system. It's not like fight these amount of enemies, increase your level, and you get a skill point automatically. Now you only get skill points from doing things in the world. And they can use these skill points to focus on a particular playstyle. So ranged is possible as well. If you want to just be an archer, you can do that. Although not every activity or boss will be good with the bow. So you still want to spend some points in melee. If you want to go the wrestling route, that should be possible. So you can even though we have the same character, you should be able to create a different playstyle for Cliff depending on how you want to play him. I can already see that exploring and finding these Abyss artifacts in the world will be very important. But what we also learned is that this is how you unlock fast travel points. So instead of there being an icon on the map, you go there and you unlock a fast travel spot. You'll instead have a fog of war and then see a fast travel icon. And then in that area, you have to search for it. So we saw some examples during the feature videos. So basically, you are rewarded for exploring and looking everywhere to get a fast travel spot. Instead of it being like, oh, yeah, just climb this tower or just interact with this pillar. No, you really have to, explore and search for it, which looks kind of cool. They also touched on the day and night cycle and the weather system in the game. It's just global. It just happens over the course of the game. But it can also impact the cutscenes. They're all dynamic. So if you go there during night and do the mission in the rain, then of course everything that you see during that mission will be in the rain. But there will not be a season system like we most recently saw with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Instead, there will be regions that will have some snow, or of course we have the desert. So going from region to region will feel different enough, but it's not that in one particular region it can suddenly start snowing or anything. No, it will be set per region. They also briefly touched on the customization system. And Willpowers pointed out that you can even change the color of individual parts of the armor or mount, of course. So you can really go crazy and change the look of outfits the way you want. The bad news is though that there does not seem to be any transmog in the game, where of course you can wear one armor but use the perks from another armor. So it does seem that if you want to get the attack power that increases with your notoriety, for example, you do have to wear that armor. but you can then change the color of the armor to still make it better than what it originally looked like. They also briefly touched on the save system, and this sounds very cool. So the autosave should be very good in this game, meaning that if you die from a boss, you spawn very close by or maybe during combat. You basically don't have to do things again that often or repeat content if you fail. So that's very nice. But if you want to, you can also manually save here and there if you want. So the save system seems really good. If you want to make the game more challenging, then you can try Unarmed Combat. If you just unequip your weapons, Cliff will use his fist, but it's likely not as strong as obviously using one weapon. Although there does seem to be a stat that you can upgrade to increase the power of your Unarmed Combat. So I'm sure there will be videos on the internet that will be like, yo, I killed this boss with my bare hands, something like that, because it should be possible. Now, one thing that they still keep under wraps but want to share later on is the control remapping, because there should be some sort of like customization for how we can, basically use the controller mostly, because there are limited buttons, and as you might know, the game can be quite complicated with the amount of systems it has. So you should be able to rearrange that a bit, but they will share more about that in the future. The same is in regards to the specs. So they're still optimizing, and they will, before launch, share the specs for the game, what your PC needs to be to reach like a medium quality, etc, etc. Right now we've only seen PC footage and PS5 Pro footage. The State of Play release date trailer, so not the most recent State of Play trailer, but the one before, was running on PS5 Pro. But yeah, I think it would be very good to also see Xbox Series S in particular footage, and of course footage on the regular PS5, Xbox Series X. Not sure if they will do that. But I thought this was pretty interesting. So there are no dialogue choices or something. The main story is set. And the main story might also not be as long as maybe other huge open world games. Will Powers doesn't want to say like a particular number for how long the game is. But he did say that if he shares the number for the main story, it might be that people who want like a huge game see that number and be like, oh, that's not a lot. But of course, we know the game is huge. Like, you can easily spend hundreds of hours in this if you want to do all the things that the game has to offer. But yeah, instead of having the dialogue options, it does seem that there are missions where you can choose your approach.
That's one of the areas where this is really not an RPG. Okay. Because it's so character choice in terms of interaction with NPCs and stuff, especially like main storyline. Those decisions are fixed. This is a fixed main story that you're progressing through, not necessarily dialogue wheel choices. So, do I do this? Do I help them? How did I approach this specific situation? Did I kill the guy and get the item? Did I buy it from him? Did I sneak in? Like, there are choices that you can make, but it's not a dialogue.
So again, it does seem that you can complete certain objectives in different ways, but it does not like really change the outcome, it seems. Now again, I will do way more Crimson Desert like news roundup videos like this. Of course, I will also cover the game extensively on the main channel with the tips and tricks and a like preview if I get to play the game early, etc. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, if there's anything you want to see in these types of videos as well, let me know in the comments so I can maybe look for information and talk to you about it. I want to post these like regularly, so if there's new info, I will let you know. Of course, subscribe to not miss anything. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.